Welcome to the Somewhat Frank podcast, hosted by entrepreneur, author, and investor Frank Gruber, and joined by entrepreneur, lawyer, and investor Jon Good Times Guidos. After each having successful startup exits, these two college friends cover a wide array of the latest trends and topics in tech, startups, investing, entertainment, and life. You'll notice they like to live life to the fullest with lots of adventure and believe in celebrating those important wins along the way. The podcast is produced with the help of Established, a strategic consultancy focused on corporate innovation, entrepreneurs, and the ecosystems that support and elevate them. Now it's time to be somewhat frank. Let's get to it.
Welcome back to the Somewhat Frank podcast. I'm your host, Frank Gruber, and I'm joined by Johnny Good Times Guidos. Johnny, thanks for being here today on this special week. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Frank. Thanks. Yeah, I'm getting married later this weekend. So a lot of moving pieces, a lot of great people, old friends and family coming into town, which is very exciting. So lots to do, which is stressful a little bit, but very, very excited for the social event of the year, as I've been calling it.
Yep, the grand finale. That's
very
so
true.
Exciting. What a week. So excited. Thanks for making the time to be here today. I know you probably got a million to-dos and things you're thinking about, so appreciate that. We're on the road this week. I'm on the road because I'm headed to your wedding here shortly, but I took a pit stop in Chicagoland, which I haven't been in, oh wow, it's been a couple years. So I'm excited to be back and catching up with some people and some family, and also headed your way down to Indy soon. But today we're joined by another special guest. We've got Jen Consalvo from Established, who's going to solve all our problems. Right, Jen, welcome back.
Thank you. So excited to be here today.
All right. So we changed the format, Jen, since last time. We are innovating over here at the Somewhat Frank podcast. We're iterating. Every time we do this, we try to make it better. And we're going to jump right in and keep it tight. That's our goal. Get right to the point.
Can I do one thing? I want to thank John for when he serenaded me on my birthday. And I'm going to return that right now and sing, go into the chapel and we're gonna get married. Go to the chapel and we're gonna get married. Woo!
Oh, wow. That was amazing. I appreciate that. That's kind of kicking off the festivities. I'm looking at it as that's the first thing. So thank you, Jen and Frank. That was a great rendition.
Yeah, I did. I jumped in to give you a little help there, support. You don't want to be a solo artist there.
Right.
Anyway, we practiced that. No, we did not, John.
No, we didn't.
0 times. Anyway, let's jump right in. We're going to do our top 5 things. Real quick, I've been on the road. We've been road warriors actually the last month or so.
Yes.
Both Jen, myself, and even you, John. We've all been hitting the road, doing different things. Last week I was in DC for the first time since 2019. Last time I was there was actually when the World Series was happening. And the Nats won. It was crazy to think that when because all the world kind of got weird there for a minute, and I hadn't been back. So anywho, I was at this STTR spring conference that's put on by the SBA and in partnership with Tech Connect and their conference, and a lot going on with America's Seed Fund. It was a 3-day gathering, brought together a lot of different agencies that like NOAA and NASA and the Air Force and NIH, all the major DoD, all the major agencies and all the folks that kind of are program leads, and then obviously a lot of entrepreneur support organizations and some entrepreneurs themselves as well. So really great information and knowledge sharing there. There's a lot of opportunities for startup founders to get funding from these different agencies in different ways, and there's a lot to learn to be able to do it. But all at the same time, it was a great information sharing for those folks that were there, right? And so,
and if you missed it, there's one every spring and fall.
Right.
So I think we'll be doing it again
in the fall, 4 or 5 months from now. Yeah, we'll do it again. And so it was good. It was the first time to be in person at an event like that in a while. I suited up for 3 days, which was unusual.
Which is funny because that conference, when it happened last fall, was my first venture back into the conference world.
And then we
drew straws. So I went to the fall one, Frank went to the spring one.
But then variants in between, right? Like all these COVID variants in between, and I'm sure there was COVID flying around that conference as well. But either way, glad to be back a little bit back to normalcy, and it felt good. So, all right, so we're gonna jump right in, and I really was speaking about that because a lot of those funding opportunities are also now focusing on inclusive opportunities and trying to be more inclusive with making sure that more Black founders get involved in these programs, and more women get involved in these programs, and geographically more diverse areas get involved in these programs,
like rural areas.
Yeah. And so more or less, I thought it was an interesting lead into one of the articles that I found this week that was put out by I think it was Crunchbase did the reporting. It was basically about VC funding for Black founders. It's actually slowed dramatically. There was a big push for it about a couple of years ago, and we heard a lot about it. Obviously, with Black Lives Matter and everything, you saw more focus on it, and the numbers just are not showing that, and it's kind of sad. And so I wanted to bring light to it, because I think there's a lot of room for opportunity or for improvement there, and I shared the link and I'd love to get your take on it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it shows a little bit of where there was lip service, where people were sort of jumping on the bandwagon and trying to make themselves look really good versus putting their money where their mouths were. But on the other hand, it really exposes, exactly that. But it also brings to the forefront the funds who really are making a difference and who are really impactful, which is exciting to see. But we need to do a lot more.
Yeah, absolutely. And Johnny, want to get your take as well.
Yeah, I second or third all of your sentiments, and it is some interesting information. Look, I mean, Jen's point about lip service is pretty interesting, and the data always speaks for itself, right? I mean, at the end of the day, a good idea is a good idea, regardless of any of some of these things. So I just am forever hopeful and cautiously optimistic that we can right the ship and get funding for those good ideas out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
It'll be interesting to see if there's impact made by some of these bigger things we are seeing. Like we saw Techstars do a huge deal with Chase Bank, right?
It got a lot of heat though, actually.
It did. There was a lot of
mainly
blowback.
because there's a lot of Black founders and actually Black fund managers that probably are investing in Black founders, and a lot of data supports that, right? That Black founders are getting support from Black investors, and obviously the Techstars crew, while we love them and do work with them, they're not necessarily all people, they're going to be looking directly for those Black founders, and that's the blowback they got, basically.
Right. Like, why couldn't some of those funds have gone directly to
some of these new fund managers?
Some of the fund managers who are already doing the work and who've already put themselves out there and have a track record, specifically for funding Black founders.
Right. Exactly.
So
it'll be interesting. I mean, they do have an opportunity now. Like Techstars has an opportunity to go out and make sure that they make that right by literally investing in Black founders and as well as other minorities. And so I think that's just the numbers will show here in the next year or two what actually the outcome is from that. So right now they're not looking good as far as the current Crunchbase number. Not just there specifically. I'm not trying to point out Techstars directly, but like in general, the VC market, definitely. So we'll have to see what the numbers come to look like here in the next year or so. We'll keep an eye on it, obviously, as we continue to work
and continue to support and highlight those investors who are going out and investing in Black founders, who are specifically bringing them to the forefront.
And it also lines up with what the America Seed Fund is doing, and that's why one kind of all ties it up together. So, all right. So moving on, we're going to talk now about Mars, because I don't know, there's not really
that's a little shift.
Yeah, there's quite not a real transition there. Oh, alarms are going off. Things are going crazy today. Anyway, we've got apparently they found some trash on Mars.
Of course.
So that's interesting.
There's trash everywhere.
There's trash everywhere. I don't know. I mean, we've hidden it in the seas. We've hid it in landfills.
It's all over space. There's millions of pieces of space junk flying everywhere.
So now it's on Mars. So what does that tell you about us as civilization? I don't know.
Oh, John, did you see some of the comments that people were posting about?
I did. It's pretty wild, and it's also kind of a testament to how much we're expanding as human beings, right? So I think it's kind of funny, and it's also pretty interesting to see that we're monitoring those types of things. Like, where are the aliens, right? If we can find a piece of foil up there on Mars, you think we'd be able to find traces of and I know that we're all of us on this podcast here are kind of interested in extraterrestrials. So
that was the initial reaction. Everyone's like, "Oh, is this from something else? Is this?" But then I think they started to like say that it was from a rover or something.
Yeah.
I mean, who's to say?
So
Maybe
it was. People were saying it was part of some kind of thermal blanket. But I think the more interesting part was that while you might expect more of the commentary to be around aliens, the commentary switched to, God, we can't just pollute our own planet.
We got to go to Mars and pollute Mars.
Right.
Yeah. That's wild.
That is pretty fun.
Pick up your trash, recycle, do everything you need to do, because apparently we're really good at throwing things on other places and just hiding it.
Could you imagine, though, being the first person at NASA to see that and be like, "Oh my gosh, what did we find here?" Mm-hmm. That'd be so exciting.
Oh yeah, no, that's crazy.
It is. And just while I'm going to do a quick plug while we're talking about space and startups, just want to remind everyone that NASA's got an interesting SBIR Ignite opportunity coming up.
Ignite,
SBIR Ignite. It's totally new. It's a scaled back application process, up to between a phase 1 and phase 2, up to $1 million. If you're interested, check out SBIR Ignite NASA. If you Google those terms, you'll find the page. Yeah.
Okay. You can Google that on the internet. Okay. We'll try to drop a link as well if we can find it via Google. We'll see how good we are at Google. All right. Moving along here, because we're tight today. We've got a lot going on around our world here. So moving on, we got fashion happening, and it's going meta. Now, what that means is Facebook, which the company formerly known as Facebook, is now Meta, and they're actually selling or planning to sell digital clothing for your avatars in the metaverse. And now they've got designers like Prada and others jumping in. And the question is, are you going to buy digital Prada for your avatar?
Well, I'll tell you what, right now, I mean, I play Fortnite with my nephews. And I pay a lot of money for those different outfits that they wear, usually as gifts to my nephews, so that they could look cool while they're out there playing the game, which is, I mean, it's just a different platform here. But so I've already been doing it, honestly. So
ding, ding, ding. In real life, we're probably going to end up buying fashion wear for our avatars, because you're doing it already in gaming. And if we start talking to each other in like meetings and stuff as avatars, we're probably going to pay for it, right? We pay for backgrounds, we pay for...
And this is nothing new. I mean, think about the probably millions and millions of dollars that were spent doing the exact same thing in Second Life.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Not that long ago. People we know were spending lots of money.
For dragon wings.
Yes, for all kinds of interesting outfits, for houses, for islands.
Oh, yeah, islands. I remember some of the first things I blogged about were people like literally spending $1 million for an island in Second Life.
AOL bought AOL Island.
They did. Like
there were all kinds of corporate things. Yeah, so yeah, I think this is, while it's new news, it's everything old is new again. Yeah. They're just bringing it back in a slightly different form.
Absolutely.
I just cracked up when in the quote from Zuckerberg when he said, Prada brings such quality, because what's the difference in quality between
digital Prada and that pixel is really really fancy.
Right. Now I get it when it comes to a handbag or a nice outfit, like
there's
tailoring.
Yeah, maybe it's the designers behind, like literally, like it's not 8-bit,
right? But
it's whatever bit.
I do hope that that they leave lots of room for the small folks who, if you recall, again back in, with Fortnite or with Second Life, with all these different marketplaces, it is such an opportunity for individuals and sort of the Etsy-ish world, right? To come in and build a business doing this. And so hopefully this doesn't steal their thunder.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the interesting thing that we mentioned about Zuckerberg saying that is that, Prada, usually most Prada wear is like got their logo everywhere, right?
Right.
That's mostly just says Prada everywhere. So that's kind of funny. Anyway, moving along. We've already figured that one out. They are growing skin on robots, like real skin. And my take is, it's kind of creepy because now we've already seen these movies, right? We've watched these movies already. You've got sci-fi movies like Ex Machina and I, Robot, and usually the robots come back and attack you in most cases.
My first thought was Data from Star Trek. So, and you know how he had sort of that ghoulish pallor about him, like it looked like he looked human, but he looked slightly ill. That's all I could think of with this, this ick factor.
But from a technology perspective, wow. Yes. That's insanity.
Oh, it's incredible.
Yeah, it's really incredible.
But it's 100% we will see Data like come to life.
Yeah, absolutely. In our lifetime.
Yeah.
Which is cool, but
John, would you hang out with a skinned robot?
Oh, it's a good question. I would. Yeah, I mean, we're going that way. Look, the bottom line is that we're able to reproduce and grow human cells right now outside of a human body, which if you could, extrapolate that, it's pretty impressive what they can do nowadays with, organs and skin and et cetera. I mean, this is just like a kind of a fun sci-fi twist on it, but it's unbelievable how quickly
my silver lining is it could be a cure to loneliness.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh boy.
Right? I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of lonely people out there, a lot of mental health issues. You start building robots that have skin and they're your best friends. Like, I mean, we have pets and things. I mean, there could be robots like that. I don't know.
That's an interesting thought.
Yeah,
for sure. I was gonna go with when you look at prosthetics, right? Like we saw that amazing one that I'm can't remember the name of right now, but this amazing one that was actually part of an SBIR event we did, which is completely realistic touch robotics and for prosthetics. And imagine now if you could actually skin that. Like, how could that change people's lives even more?
No, it's really interesting. All right, so moving on, because I know we're tight, keeping it tight with our five things. Last but not least, we're going to talk about Cannes, which is happening in full swing right now. It hasn't happened. It's a festival. It hasn't happened since 2019. It's focused on creativity and in film and advertising, and really get some interesting people out. We'll share some links about what's been happening over there. But I've never been. It's on my bucket list. I wanted to go when we were doing TechCo because it was a media company. We were doing advertising. We were really doing some really interesting things in the advertising space. Some of the first kind of movers in that space years ago. And so I think that it would have been great to attend, but maybe someday, And the reason I wanted to talk about it is there's some really interesting advertisements that are out there. We can talk through those pretty quickly. But there's also a startup that caught my attention. One is called Gymshark. And the only reason it caught my attention is because they got some good press, but they also are young students and are innovating quickly. So basically they are printing out this shirt that it's a 10-week shirt, it's called. And it prints out your workout for your gym on like the arm. And then it promotes obviously the habit of going back to the gym. And as you wash it, every single time I wash it, it fades a little bit more. And so by the 10 weeks, you've now worked out the 10 weeks. Hopefully you've done the whole routine 10 weeks worth.
And it's gone.
And it's gone. Wow. And you supposedly are, you've shifted forms into a
so do you buy the next
quite fit person. What? I guess
really cool.
And then you buy the next shirt, I guess. I don't know.
Maybe it's a whole series?
Yeah, it's a whole series. Well, it's the brainchild of these students. It's Nicholas Lindberg, Anna, hopefully I don't mess these names up, Jetter Lund, Klaus Holmes, and Fabian Lutherand. And they're out of this Berg School of Communications. And they all are participating in Cannes. Awesome. So good for them. Obviously nice to see these ideas that are simple, but could help promote this, people's habits and change people's lives. And bravo to these students for getting started early in their entrepreneurial, journeys.
I also saw that some old friends were there. Gary Vee was there, Paris Hilton.
Yeah.
So those are pretty cool.
Yep, definitely. So you'll see those in the show notes. There's some links. We'll drop those in there. Find some good to see them out there having a show at it. And maybe we'll see them there sometime. But there's one more thing that we'll talk about, and then we'll move on here, is some of the other stuff that wasn't student driven. Things like Adidas had this won an award for this advertisement. It was like a liquid billboard. And so basically it was a big pool.
It's really cool.
In Dubai. And they had real, swimmers and other different people that would jump into the pool in their swimwear, and then they projected whatever happened in the pool in other places across Dubai. And so they won an award for it because it's it's a unique setup.
And it wasn't just a setup. It was about what they were promoting. So this was really about inclusivity.
Yes.
So about women who are uncomfortable swimming in public. So about some of the swimwear.
And actually, in some areas, you can't wear that swimwear, right? So due to the way that culturally.
Right. So they had a broad mix of people involved, and it was really well done.
Yeah.
Bravo, Adidas.
So check that out. It's a little fun footnote for the episode today. And we did it. We did 5. We did it the way we wanted to do it. We're getting ready for the big celebration this weekend. Any final thoughts? Before we head out?
Oh, I'm very excited to see you all in a couple days, and thanks for having me again.
The simplest thing to remember is say, I do. That's it.
Oh boy. I better get one of those shirts where I can write it on there so that I can remember it.
Yeah.
You can have your vows printed on the shirt, just like the workout.
We'll see, we're innovating on their ideas. Great.
Genius.
Love it. All right. Well, this has been a Somewhat Frank. Thanks for listening. Everyone, hug your family, loved ones out there, and have a great weekend.
Take care, everyone.
Oh, and happy 4th.
Thanks for listening to another Somewhat Frank podcast episode. Be sure to rate and subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast. We'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to celebrate your wins, small and large, with gratitude. It will make your journey more enjoyable. We'll be back soon with another episode.